I continued saying my personal beliefs are grounded in the teachings of Jesus as he lived, not in the way it is reported that he died. Kim looked even more puzzled. But our conversation continued as she told me that her belief in God is tied to biblical scripture as given through the prophets, who she believes was inspired by God. I urged her to consider that while they may have been inspired writings, everything that comes through the human consciousness is subject to filtering and corruption by the human ego. And Unitarian Universalism provides space for my questions and my doubts. After a bit of silence, as she struggled to control herself, Kim informed that she made a practice of trying to remain open-minded through listening. And while my ideas certainly differed from hers, she did appreciate my sharing. And with that, we happily changed the subject and began discussing our future travels. Now, that conversation could easily have turned into a heated debate, with each of us squaring off and becoming polarized in our individual beliefs. After all, we each had the potential for bringing common assumptions to the conversation about religion. First of all, we're both African American women, which led to the assumption that if I had any religion at all, it must be Christian. We both had Southern family ties. Therefore, we must share the same culinary tastes. When I boarded the plane, Kim was eating a big burger, and I'm vegetarian. Social location and culture may have originally linked us in some ways, but seeking, travel, and cross-cultural experiences shifted the balance to change all that. But Kim and I did manage to come with respect for individual choice in how we see the holy, with the understanding that our different approaches have no effect on the mystery known by many names and faces that some call God. It is only our limited ability to move past personal perceptions based on outward signs of differences, based on race and culture, that creates separation. There's an old tale about a monastery that had fallen upon such hard times that no new men were joining, and some of the younger monks were leaving in dissatisfaction. Soon, only a handful of monks and their leader, the abbot, remained. Of course, as human nature would have it, they began fighting amongst themselves, blaming each other for the hard times. One day, a traveling rabbi stopped at the monastery for a night's rest, and he prayed alongside the other monks. But as he prepared to leave the next day, the abbot drew him aside, told him of his troubles, and asked for his observations and advice to share with the other monks. The rabbi said, "Your monks will not listen to my advice, but I think that they would benefit from my observations." He continued saying, "The Messiah dwells among you here at the monastery." The abbot was astonished and wanted to know which one of the monks was the Messiah. The rabbi answered that he couldn't say, but advised the abbot to share this news with his brothers, and in time it would be revealed. When the abbot shared the news, each monk began to speculate who among them was the Messiah. Could it be Brother Henry? One question. No, he was the youngest. Perhaps it was Brother Robert. Or maybe it was the abbot himself. Or could it be me, they each wondered. Soon things began to change at the monastery, as each began to see the Messiah in the other, and to hear the Messiah's words in each word spoken. Soon after, people began to wander back to the monastery, and in time, new men joined, and the monastery began to thrive once again. Now, I know many Unitarian Universalists have rejected any idea or the mention of God in any way, shape, or form. In most part, it's because of some unpleasant experience or challenge with dogma that was imposed upon them. And there might be other reasons that have attributed to people coming into this faith system. In any case, it is broad enough to provide for all of our questions and all of our doubts without fear of judgment. However, I think that we spend too much time repressing natural feelings about the holy. Too much energy is exerted on arguments and debates as to your God and my God, or no God at all. We view the mystery of God as we view ourselves. God is compassionate and scary because we are compassionate and scary. The female faces of God are images that are sometimes needed to meditate on motherhood, spousehood, sisterhood, or on trying to be the best woman that you, my sisters, or I can be. Just as we sometimes need to meditate on God as the master architect of the universe, my brothers, the creator, the father, the teacher, the infinite, or sometimes neither. There are times when the need arises to meditate on God as mother, bride, and wise woman. God is male and female and neither, because we are male and female and sometimes neither. Faces of the divine come through to us because we need them to understand ourselves. When we chase some of them away, we chase away parts of ourselves as parts of our community. As we heard in the story for all ages, nothing looks like God because there is nothing to see. But everyone and everything is a clue that God is around us, including the way that you came together here this morning, and all that is accomplished in this congregation, through young and old, and through little hands and big hands, and through what you feel in your hearts. So look around you and see the many faces of God. May it be so.